death of a 9-year-old Albuquerque boy has raised questions about how the state handles cases that have a history of abuse. Police say Omari Varela was kicked to death by his mother, Cynthia Varela Casaus. Varela Casaus has a long record with police and a history with CYFD. Many have questioned why her children were still in her care. CYFD says it had no active case with the family at the time of the incident, but is now investigating. Tonight, a liberal New Mexico group has released a scathing report criticizing CYFD and its management. The group claims it analyzed 800 pages of reports and budgets and has come to some disturbing conclusions. Our Caleb James has the story. Caleb.
And Tom, after reading this report, we sought out a perspective on this ongoing CYFD story that we haven't heard yet. A court-appointed child advocate, a volunteer who worked closely with the agency for several years, tells us he cannot speak specifically to the findings of the Progress Now report, but he did share his own story with us today.
I had a case where the kid was burned with cigarettes.
When Jim Larson retired from Sandia Labs, he wanted to help kids.
He said his stepmother did it.
What he saw, he says he won't forget. Kids reporting abuse, being returned to parents, and then recanting their stories.
As soon as he got back with his family, he did it to himself.
In that case, he says the child eventually was taken away from the family. He likes to think he helped. As a volunteer court-appointed child advocate, Larson spent 5 years working with CYFD and the courts, making sure proper protocol was followed.
I think it's badly broken, but I think it's badly broken not from the worker level. I think they're overworked. The management structure is punitive, hostile, and it was definitely that way toward me.
A new report from left-leaning political action group Progress Now New Mexico says under the Martinez administration, nearly 1 in 4 cases referred for investigation at CYFD resulted in a child waiting in an abusive home for 30 days. It also claims the administration ended 2003 with 93 vacant positions.
That the governor returned $6 million to the legislature last year from CYFD and then complains that they don't have the resources that they need to deal with these issues.
Attorney General Gary King shared what he called his personal views about the state of CYFD. King brought up his intention to run against Martinez next election and called for an independent investigation of CYFD.
There's so much opportunity inside the agency for a whitewash.
Now, CYFD had just a few moments, a few hours to review the report and respond to us today. We had several questions for them. They point out that the hiring freeze for caseworkers at CYFD was lifted when Martinez took office, and they've been aggressively hiring. They also point out it's not a bad thing the state is taking a higher number of child abuse reports. That's why the governor set up a hotline so cases could be investigated. Bottom line, the Martinez administration tells us they believe this is a bogus report that plays politics with the tragic death of a 9-year-old boy. In the newsroom, I'm Caleb James, KOB Eyewitness News 4.
Amidst all this controversy surrounding CYFD, there is now another case involving a 9-year-old boy claiming his stepfather physically abused him. Cirillo Mesa Hernandez was in court this afternoon.